What is your expected outcome for Q3, Q4 for the firearms industry? Are we going to be up or down?
I think you got to go sub-segment. So cans have been strong for a while. If we can get, I wish they were going to get rid of the whole NFA program. If I were king for a day, I would wave a magic wand and make that happen. I'm sad and happy. I'm sad because I feel like given who we have in the White House, we have both controls of both houses of Congress. I don't see a real aspiration right now to get a congressional law to do away with that. And if we don't get it right now, I worry we won't get it. So I'm a little bit bummed about that. Actually, I'm not bummed about that. But I'm really pumped. It looks like that they're going to take, the $200 tax stamp and get it to zero or some near zero number. So, that's a pragmatic outcome that helps us be in a better position than we are. If that happens, especially if it pulls in, basically pistols, SPRs, et cetera, I feel like that you'll see continued strength in suppressors and hopefully even more so. And, I personally, I shot suppressed when I was in the military, but once I started hunting suppressed, I don't want to hunt any other way once you do that. And so I've been in the process of, I got 1 or 2 cans and now I have a lot more because I don't want to have to sit there and look up my dope and remember how much I've got to move and everything. So I am, and this is both as a gun dude and also as a gun industry guy, I'm really hopeful that they're going to basically, through that reconciliation bill, zero out the tax stamp and that we're going to see renewed and increased strength in suppressors. And that will lead to tons of folks saying, I don't want 2 or 3 cans. I want 8 or 9 cans or whatever. Those are the categories I think we'll see the most strength in. Talking to other buddies in the industry, there's some softness in bolt action rifles. There's pockets of strength, in the MSR space, but I don't see other than shorter barrels what makes that better and stronger across the board. That's kind of my current outlook. You guys see it different, or you see it roughly the same?
I'm seeing the same. Just talking to people, I'm seeing the same thing. And with the HPA getting into the reconciliation bill and when this airs, depending on how it goes, we already know it's passed Congress. I foresee the suppressor market going up, which means we'll see probably a run on guns threaded or adapted to run suppressed.
Yeah. I could also see almost new subcategories coming out since you get if the bill goes the way I hope it goes, then I think you see this lift in shorter barrels. I think you see this lift in cans. I could see there being a lot more sort of integrated uppers. One of the things I've been thinking about a lot and challenging myself a lot is I have a lot of friends that are freedom guys. They're politically conservative. They love America and they don't have an AR. So I think there's a world of people like me, probably y'all, that own a bunch of ARs, a bunch of lowers. And so I think there's always a market to sell more uppers to them. But I think it'll also be interesting to see if the kind of press coverage leads to more people getting their first AR. And I know that sounds crazy because we think about, everybody's got an AR. There's a ton of people that don't. There's a ton of people because they come up to me. They're like, I'm thinking about getting my first AR. What do you think I should get? And it's always a good reminder to me that not everybody's as much of a gun nut as me, right? And that we can't just get myopically focused on our core folks. We always have to continue trying to expand our tent. And I think that's hard because of what the liberals have done to us with, Meta and all this other stuff. But it'll be interesting to see, is this just renewed buying amongst the core gun nuts like me, or does this prompt more people to come in and buy their first tactical rifle? It'll be interesting to see that.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time talking about how do we build a better on-ramp for people to get involved in the Second Amendment and, go from the anti-gun side to maybe just gun, aware and to a gun owner, to a gun advocate. And I hope that as we start seeing more restorations in our rights, whether that is, Hearing Protection Act or constitutional carry, all of those things lead to the gun culture being stronger. And we know that, the great law of the universe, as so many people have said, is culture is upstream of politics. And so the stronger that we can make our Second Amendment culture, the easier it is for the momentum to be on our side, to see these restorations. And I think a lot of that's coming to fruition when it comes to constitutional carry, hearing protection. And then, like John said, we're headed to the Senate. Hopefully the Senate amends to also add the SHORT Act into the reconciliation bill so that we can have even greater victories.
By the way, am I being overly pessimistic? I feel like we're going to get screwed. We're not going to get a real bill that does away with NFA, that we're going to get what's a great step for us, right? Zeroing out the $200. But like, am I throwing in the towel and being hopeful too soon? Or do you guys see it the same way? I don't feel like that's something that's going to get pushed through, and I wish it would, but that's how I see it right now. Do you guys see it differently?
So, I think that it all depends on the grassroots momentum, right? So, when it comes to the Hearing Protection Act, my understanding is that is a removing of suppressors from the NFA. It's not a perfect doing away with. I mean, we want to see a full restoration of the Second Amendment. That being said, the Senate, believe it or not, is our stronger of the two houses. And so with the Senate, we can see it either get stronger or even potentially getting the addition of the SHORT Act. So we've got 2 different letters that we're working on. The first one, we've already sent it to the House. We are continuously adding additional signatures on it, which is the letter's name just escaped me. It's the
partnership letter?
Yes. What is that letter called?
The partnership letter?
No, it has a fancy name. We have one letter that maybe it'll come to me that is like people from the industry, manufacturers that have signed on that say, we support GOA's vision and mission to completely remove suppressors and short barrel rifles out of the NFA in reconciliation. The second letter we have is actually from the influencer side, saying that we as the gun media also support this, and we have thousands and if not millions of viewers, because ultimately this is the moment for this reconciliation is the moment for us to get a really big victory, because everyone understands that it's midterms. And it may have already felt like we just went through a super long election cycle, but the reality is the midterms have already started. And for people who want and need the gun vote, they understand that if the more united we can be in pushing for the SHORT Act and for hearing protection, the more that they're going to have to say yes, because their seats are in jeopardy if they go back to their constituents and say, actually, I didn't vote for this because of some random cause or measure. And so we have the power and the momentum and the timing on our side for the first time in a very long time.
And by the way, when I say I don't want in any way come across as ungrateful, if we get a $0 versus $200, on a tax stamp for suppressors, I don't want in any way sound ungrateful. It's not lost on me what a huge step forward that is. It's just kind of to your point. If not now, then when? Mm-hmm. And I've personally talked to congressmen more on the House. And when you're talking to somebody that's trying to tell you what they know you want to hear, mm-hmm. and I haven't felt enough conviction from enough folks for me to be confident that that's their hill to die on. They're going to push that through. So I don't want to sound ungrateful for the tremendous efforts that y'all and other organizations are putting into it. If we get 200 goes down to 0, it's a massive win for our movement. I hope I'm not being overly pessimistic. I continue talking to congressmen I know. I just feel like I know when I'm being bamboozled, right? And sometimes I just feel like they're like, yeah, it'd be great, wouldn't it? It's like, no, I want to hear you say we're going to do that come hell or high water. And I don't always feel that conviction. So,
and I think that is very reminiscent of the gun culture as a whole in the past, is that we feel like we get a step forward and then we feel like we're getting 2 steps back. Like we got the assault weapons ban in the 90s, it got sunsetted. Okay, cool, we got it, and then they come after something else. I think right now, as gun owners and from the movement of seeing the grassroots going through the the influencers and things like that, we're seeing a resurgence going, no, we're going to actually come out and push for this. We're very quiet. We're called the silent majority. We're actually being loud and taking, I guess you could take a page from the liberals playbook, and we're going out and we're contacting the senators and congressmen and letting them know this is what we want. And with that pressure that we're putting onto them, I foresee that we hopefully will get it. We've already seen them go from, they went down to 0 in the original bill, but the NFA still applied, and now they've removed that completely. It's 0 and no NFA off the NFA for suppressors. So hopefully with that pressure, we saw the pressure just over the course of 4 days. Hopefully with that continued pressure from gun owners, we'll see them go, no, we got to fully restore this as a whole.